What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, the toggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And that just reminded me of Todd Todgers.
Todd Todgers.
You ever heard of Todd Todgers?
No.
You know Todd
Human?
Rogers, the guy who faked that old Atari game Dragster?
Yeah.
He is like one of the Billy Mitchell crew. And he basically was the guy who got a time that was, they found out, impossible. Like programmatically, they went through the code, and in his own lawsuit, he was trying to sue somebody for defamation. His own lawyer called him Todd Todgers, not Todd Rogers. And
so now his alter ego is Todd Todgers.
Yeah. And also your mouse is right on your head. Both of our mice were on your head when we first started. You had double. You have a mouse problem.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, bud, how are you doing? How you rested? You tired?
Dude, oh, we are back. We are back in the wipe, and it's a thing.
I am, dude. I've got my popcorn. I'm reading Twitter, and it's like the most whiplashy. I love it.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, from that vantage point, it being
have you seen Twitter? Yeah,
very little. I saw Pest's tweet. He was very angry.
I saw a screenshot of Pest's tweet, and then right above it, Velian's tweet.
What did Vel tweet?
Like, the game feels incredible, everything feels so good, blah blah blah. And Pest is like, this is the worst fucking wipe ever. You know, you guys dropped the ball. I'm salty, blah blah blah. And I don't remember who it was that posted it, but it was just like pretty funny that it was the two of those things right next to each other.
Classic. Yep. So yeah, the Tarkov wipe happened. We got they tweeted on Christmas. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like it's no secret. I'm really trying to thread the needle of, like, it's no secret. You know, we've been talking on the podcast for a while about how I've been feeling the burnout, and then I had another game to play that was super exciting. And so, like, I'm trying to let, people be excited for the wipe, you know what I mean? And be there and not be a curmudgeon, but also be honest. Like, you know what I mean? People are like, oh my God, how's the wipe? And it's a wipe. Like, it's a wipe. You know what I mean? I am having fun. I am gaming with the boys. Obviously, there's so much of everything. There's so much to do, and the fights are scrappy. So all that stuff is happening and it's fun. And, but it's would I be grinding it solo? Probably not. But so we got the wipe, and it was definitely an interesting one. They did the same thing again, by the way, where they were like, the game is going down at 2 a.m. It will be the installation will take 8 hours. So, okay, 2 plus 8, 10. Game should be up around 10. Then an hour later, they tweeted, join us at 11 a.m. for Tarkov TV Live. This is the exact same thing they did in the summer. And so we were like, why not just say it's going to be up at noon? Because that's exactly what happened. Tarkov TV started at 11. At about noon, they pushed the patch live. It's also what happened before. I think there may be an elaborate troll, because they know that between 10 and 11, everyone in every chat is just like, where's the game? They said they said 8 hour downtime. They said it. I don't think they at any point planned to put it up at 10 a.m. at all. And I think a part of me thinks it's an elaborate troll on streamers to just give them an hour where people lose their goddamn minds. But anyways, so we got the patch notes, which we'll go through. But the first thing that happened, the wipe hit. Okay. And immediately people were going, check the flea market. And a bunch of listings from the previous wipe were still up on the flea market. Like, people were buying marked keys immediately. And so it was chaos.
And labs cards.
Yeah, and labs cards. And so then we got into a raid, and then there was all this explosion of talk about how they were going to re-wipe. And it was really hard to like track down information. Everybody was losing their minds, but they did. I do have a screenshot of like an admin in the BSG Discord saying like, we're re-wiping the game. And then, but it didn't like make me create my character again. It just like, I got back to the stash and I think everybody's money had gotten back to them. And like, I had to re-accept all my tasks and stuff like that. So it was, dude, it just right off the rip was like a cluster, which was just like, yes, exactly. But the only really noteworthy things from the Tarkov TV that they did as the patch was still down was they said that 2025 is going to be a year they focus on stability and performance.
Wasn't that the last 2 years?
I knew your face.
I'm sorry.
Dude.
Sorry. One more time. Can you say what?
It was actually funny because he was like, 2025 is the year we're really going to focus on stability, performance, bug fixes, and new content. And we were like, that's all the things. That's all you like. That's game development. That's the whole deal. So it was funny. I mean, like on some level, it is nice to hear that because that is, I mean, the literal definition. Like you could sum up the past 200 episodes of the podcast. Anyone that we have talked about Tarkov to, they need stability and optimization more than they need new features. So, LOL. Listen, apparently Forbes took that statement as a 1.0 tease. That's hilarious. Anyways, listen, I told chat, I hopped in the inner tube and I'm just floating down the lazy river. I'm floating. I don't care. I don't care about nothing. We're just vibing. But we should go through the patch notes because there are a few pretty big changes in this wipe. There's a new mode, like a new marathon. Remember like last wipe, they did the marathon mode where you have to transition from map to map to map to map. There's like another new mode where you actually select it as its own mode. And it's like that, but this time you have to like fuel up a generator and then that generator starts a 5-minute timer and everybody knows. And then when the 5-minute timer is up, then you can transition to the other map. So it's like marathon mode plus with like this big PvP catalyst. I haven't tried it yet, but it exists and that's cool. They added snow.
Does that not? So like my brain is just going right to the lowest common denominator response that I know like a Redditor would post, but
yeah.
Like, is that not basically saying, hey, I am currently exiting.
Yeah.
I'll be here for 5 minutes.
Yes.
You don't even have to exit camp. You can just come when you see the signal and you've got plenty of time.
For sure. No, I think it is. I think it's basically, I haven't played it, so people in chat or people in the YouTube comments, correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically like a battle royale mode. Like the point of it is like I don't know, once you start up the generator, I don't know if you can do it a second time. I think it's literally like last man standing gets to transition to the next map. And there's like there's a quest line for the Korvad mode. And the reward for completing it is like cosmetics that are like winter. So like winter camo cosmetics for Bear Usek. So it's a completely optional thing. You don't have to do it. I haven't touched it, but I think it kind of is exactly that. Like, hey, come fight. But I haven't played it yet. We got snow, and I will say, I don't know if it's just because we had snow for like 4 months in the spring wipe last year, and I got used to it, but me and everyone else I've talked to feels like the crunch, crunch, crunch of the footsteps sounds better. It's very distinct. I'm walking in snow, but it's not like so loud. That was like, it was so rough. You couldn't hear anything but your own footsteps. You know what I mean? So yeah, it feels better. It feels more balanced. Like you're definitely running around through snow, but it doesn't seem like awful. So that's cool. And then they added like a frostbite effect, like storms can come through and you can get too cold and like the edges of your screen get frosty. And if you go around like a fire barrel or inside, it goes away. That's going to happen more often in an event that's coming soon, apparently.
That sounds just toxic.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. And it reduces the amount of stamina you have, so LOL.
Wait. Well, I mean, that's probably good because we've historically always had way too much stamina.
Way too much stamina.
Historically, yeah. So that's probably good.
You know what's funny, though? This isn't in the patch notes, but me and Seal and Velian all feel like the base strength and endurance values were increased. I feel like I'm running way farther and can carry more stuff at level 1 than in the past. So that wasn't listed. I wish it was, because like that would be one I'd be like, I want to know for sure that they changed it, because if so, I want to be like, yo, thank you. That was a good change.
Yeah.
But it feels anecdotally a lot better. We got the customs rework, which
I saw your video.
Yeah?
I watched your video, yeah.
Yeah. So it's been pretty divisive because there's kind of like two schools of thought, largely, which is like, there's kind of two schools of like appreciation for map design. There's like people that appreciate BSG's map design, which is like, this feels like a real place. And people that appreciate video game map design, where it's like, this feels like purposefully. Yeah. And BSG, so I don't see this as a departure from the way BSG makes maps. I think this is exactly how they make maps. Streets is a lot like this. Okay, we are back. I apologize for the technical difficulties. My PC blue screen literally in the middle of that thought. And before we move on with the Tarkov stuff, Veritas reminded me that he sent me a package. A Christmas miracle.
A Christmas meme-ical.
A Christmas meme-ical. So we break this regularly scheduled Tarkov content so very quickly. Okay.
It's a code for unheard. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
Imagine.
If I actually do have one of the.
Tina
I still got, like,
and Co.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Bro, it says JesseKazam, Lawn of the Month, October 2024. Bro, you know what's so funny too?
You deserve a trophy for that, okay? You can't just, that needs not to be a memory. It needs to be memorialized.
You want to know what a different viewer sent to my P.O. box?
Oh my god, what? Whoever you are, genius. And you're handsome.
Bro,
attractive.
This is awarded to Jesse. This is crazy. This is nice. This feels primo.
There you go.
Wow. Thank you.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Now you have to, in order for it to be fair and reasonable, you need to win again. Otherwise, it's a lie, and you need to throw one of those out.
Ah, yes. I have 12 calendar months to win again, or I must throw one of them out.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it needs to be October, otherwise.
Fair, actually. They both say October. I have to win next year's October. Holy. Imagine I do, though. Imagine I do. Thank you, man. That's so funny. That's so freaking funny. Oh my god!
Enough of the meme. I had the idea.
I had totally forgotten. I've been so in the wipe. I had it right here, but I totally forgotten. So thank you for reminding me. That's so funny.
So I think you were talking about. You said the Tarkov maps were so, and then you froze.
Yeah. I was just saying that the customs update doesn't feel like a departure from how they do it. They're normally like that, more on the like realism side, but it definitely makes the whole middle of the map like I love the update. When I went through, like you could tell when I was in the video, I was like, yo, this is so sick. I love the buildings. But immediately you're running through it in an offline and you're like, this is so sick. Like there's so many alcoves. This is dope. And then the next raid, you go into an online raid and you need the pocket watch and you're like, shit, there's 4 billion additional angles people can see everything from. You can see Fortress. You can see the train tracks. You can see construction. You can see skeleton. Dude, there's just a trillion different angles to cover now. And so it's like, I think that's where the rubber is kind of hitting the road, where people are like, oof, I don't know about this. But I'm so interested to see how it like goes long term, because I don't think they increased the amount of spawns on customs. So it's like technically there's more places for people to be. It's less likely any one person is going to be any particular spot. And it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword where there's more angles to watch, but there's also more ways to get away. Like that was always, for a long time, that was a criticism of customs, is that it felt very laney. Back in the day, it was one lane. You remember that. Literally, the bridge was the choke point. You had to go under or over that bridge. Then they opened up the upper lane where there was like the radio tower and you did that. And then they put Fortress in and that was a 3-lane. But it always felt like you were, it was fish swimming opposite direction and you were going to run into somebody. Well, now
it's just one big lane.
It's a humongous lane. And so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, 2 days with it is not enough, but like they did a great job. The lighting feels good. Like Factory was way too dark. I feel like the lighting in there is good. They added a lot of really purposeful stuff in other places. Like they opened up some holes in the wall, places where really common spots where people would jump over anyway. They made that a little bit easier. They changed.
Dude, I saw that when you saw where the bridge is. There used to just be a fence there.
Yes.
Whenever I picture that area, I picture the clip with Clean way back in the day where there was like a PMC like lying down and he like fucking glitched out and disappeared.
Yep.
Anyway, but there's that fence there that's now open, so you can just run there and then hop over. It's so funny because before it was like you needed a factory key.
Yep.
It was like the only way you could like bifurcate the fucking impenetrable thing.
Yep.
Now you could get over the other way by jumping over
the
this
porta potty.
The one fucking porta potty, and I don't know if they added it later, but then there's like the dumpster.
Yeah.
And then, like up over through I think that was later.
That was later.
They
yep.
added that. So really, it was like the porta potty or the key were like the only ways you would be able to kind of switch over to that other half.
Yep.
And now it's like there's like 15 different ways. There's like a hole in the wall. There's the fence. You could jump over the fence in 5 different places.
Yep.
Presumably still the factory key, but like
no one will ever use that factory key now. Yeah, because that other way.
Except they should make that like a Bitcoin spawn or something on that desk.
Yeah, actually putting some sort of loot in that little hut would actually be great because that would be a reason to use the factory key.
That's a choke point. It's going in there is actually like sketchy.
Yeah, turning that key is sketchy because like you got the whole map behind you. Yeah, so 100% the customs, like they did a phenomenal job for how they design maps. It will be interesting to see how the community, myself included, responds to how customs plays as a result of this in the future. But there's hella stuff. They also added the propane tanks that they put on labs for the zombie event. So now in like every other room, there's a propane tank on the ground. And if it gets shot, it kills everything. In like the range for those things is crazy. So
yikes, dude. One of the things that you pointed out was in one of the buildings in the middle, you could like look out through the broken like glass cube windows towards old gas.
Yep.
And it was like a really nice, you're exposed as fuck.
Yep.
But it's also like you could probably back up to the point where there wasn't really that much of an angle. And because that is just a place where it's like you'll see people roll up to the bridge.
Yep.
They'll look over the barrier, look to see, they'll be like pop, 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 at a couple scavs, and they might miss, the scav will run. That's like Shooter Born in Heaven. Actually, I don't even know if Shooter Born in Heaven exists like it did back in the day, but back in the day, that would have been like one of the only places you would have been able to really do that.
Yep.
Did they change anything on the other side by like Big Red? Because I didn't watch the whole video.
Yeah, okay. I did go run back there because I wanted to see. They didn't. I mean, like just some lighting and all the textures are new and stuff like that. They added a couple semi trucks back there, but they didn't really change anything. Same with dorms. Some of the rooms have like some different furniture and stuff, but it's largely the same. They did add a green flare extract, which I think is so good. I like that they're adding that to more maps now. Woods has it, and Streets has it, and Customs have it.
Grassy area by where like.
No, that would be a great spot because there's nothing up there. It's on the railroad tracks. So basically, if you were running from Fortress to Old Gas, you have to run up over the railroad tracks. It's if you just in the past, if you ran down that railroad tracks too far, you would get the boundary sniper would kill you. You shoot the flare off there and you just run. out on the tracks. Ask
okay.
me how I know which side of the train tracks you need to run on.
What? Tell me one side works and one side doesn't?
Brother. Correct. Last rate of the day. Bro. Literally, so on streets, it's like, on streets, Klimov, it's like a city block. The width of the extract is humongous. There's a building, there's a sidewalk, there's a 2-lane road, there's a median, there's a 2-lane road, there's a stage, and then you run into the mall. That entire width of that, you can shoot the green flare and run all the way. This is like 14 feet. It's a train track. And I walked up and I saw the signal flare area thing so that I knew I was in the right spot, because you have to wait. That it pops up in the bottom right. That's how you know you're in the zone to shoot the flare. I saw it. So I was like, oh, chat's right. This is where it is. Shot the flare. We ran out. Bam, 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 bam. Both of us are dead, me and Vel. And so I was like, oh, it's bugged. But then chat was like, no, watch this YouTube video. And they was like, oh, you have to run on the other side. And we took it like 3 times today. You just have to run on the other side of the train tracks. I was like, dude.
Isn't it great playing a game where shit happens and you're like, I don't know if it's intentional, if it's bugged, or if it's unintentional?
Yeah. Yeah. So W that green flare extract is on customs, but come on, make it the whole length of the thing, goddammit. So customs, cool beans. The prestige mode is in the game. There are going to be 10 prestige levels. The first 2 are in the game. The big question I had was what was going to be required to prestige. Was it going to be max traders? Was it going to be max level? Was it going to be Kappa? Was it going to be a specific quest line? You know what I mean? That's what we were wondering. It is Kappa. You have to get the Kappa before you're allowed to prestige. I personally don't like that, because I had some people, and once again, this is a super subjective thing. I had some people come to chat and be like, well, what else would it be? Like, Kappa is the end game. And you're right. The only end game we have in Tarkov is getting Kappa. I wanted this to be an opportunity to introduce a new end game. It was like, Kappa is just the same goddamn quests over and over and over again. I would have loved to see them, like, when you get level 42, it unlocks a new quest chain. And even if that quest chain is like 15 quests long, it's new and it takes you, and then you can prestige. You can get a prestige token. You can get Kappa before you get it if you want. You can get, like, I would have liked to see an additional endgame thing, because for me, I will not prestige, because prestiging isn't like, there's nothing new about it. It's just do the thing you've done 7 times, which is get Kappa. Like, all the people, like Gingy, every wipe, she gets Kappa, then she resets her account and does it again for fun. She's been prestiging this whole time. But now you can get like I love the rewards, by the way. Custom background, hideout customization stuff, new dog tag, like armband, all the stuff I thought they should add. Like, I think it's great. But the process of it is just no different. You know what I mean? I already can't be bothered to get Kappa because I've done the same quest so many times. So now, to the thought of grinding for Kappa so that my reward is resetting my account to do it again, for me is not it. Now, that's just for me. I still think the prestige system is actually going to be really good and a really valuable thing. We've talked about this a ton in the past. It keeps more players rotated into lower levels. Not every like grinder will prestige. Not every person that gets Kappa will prestige. Certainly not. But more high-end players will be lower level as a result. It might be 2% more. It might be 50% more, right? But like, some amount of them will reset their accounts and then end up at a lower level, and it'll like keep more people rotating through the economy. All the rewards are cosmetic, so it doesn't mess with the economy of the game. I'm definitely very much so pro prestige. It's just personally, I think it was a missed opportunity to not introduce an additional end game. I think he said that eventually they want to tie it to the storyline quests. And because they don't have those ready, they just tied it to Kappa because they knew they could do that quickly. I get that. But, yeah, I don't know. If that makes sense, that's kind of my my personal thing. Actually, hold on. Where did it say? I think on one of they always do the, oh, yeah. If you had to guess, this is obviously completely pulled out of your ass because nobody knows the player numbers or whatever. But if you had to guess, this last wipe, community sentiment, maybe all-time low, short wipe, how many people in the world got the Kappa container? If you just had to guess.
They released this number?
They released this number, yeah. Obviously, it's
10,000.
Yeah, that's probably, I would have maybe guessed less. 40,000 people got the Kappa container.
That was the right order of magnitude.
Yeah, that blew my mind that like 40,000 people grinded that far. I mean, obviously that's worldwide. That's not like, they didn't do it all at the same time. But that was
38,500 are all streaming in the Tarkov category.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. Somebody pointed it out too. 40,000 people got Kappa. Only 23,000 people in the entire wipe got max endurance.
Oh yeah, wait. People were saying, didn't they give out Kappa at the end?
Oh, that's
probably fucking. I bet you that quadrupled.
Yeah,
so
you're
10,000.
so right, bro. I was so off in Delta Force land. I totally forgot about that. They gave the Kappa away as a quest reward
for like killing some shit.
Yeah, you're okay. Throw everything out the window then, because that totally, I'm sure it throws everything out. Anyways, Prestige is good. I'm glad it's in the game. I will never do it. Let's put it that way. I will never Prestige. But the rewards are new icon next to your name, main menu background, armband, dog tag style, hideout customization, new PMC gestures. There's rock, paper, and scissors you get for prestiging. I'm super salty about that because me and Valiant rock, paper, scissors all the time. And I saw it in the trailer and I was like, yes, we're going to be able to rock, paper, scissors. But that's only for prestige.
You got to do rock, paper, scissors, and then take one back.
Yeah.
Russian roulette. Does anybody get that reference?
No. Sorry. I'm sure it's a movie I've never seen.
Someone will get it. No, it's something that you couldn't possibly have seen because of the wipe.
Oh.
Squid Game season 2.
Oh.
Episode
Somebody
1.
put it in chat. Somebody put Squid Games. We got some knowers in the chat.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting you're live too.
Yeah, I know. I'm never live during the new melee weapon, like that kind of stuff. So cool. It'll be really interesting to see people like undoubtedly. I mean, there are people that get Kappa container 3 times in a wipe normally. So we're definitely going to see some prestige level 2 homies, which is cool. We got a few new guns. We got the RSHG-2 rocket launcher. I haven't seen one yet. We'll see how she goes. We got a new big boy 338 Lapua Magnum bolt action sniper. We got the Atlas Defense Velociraptor 300 Blackout AK. It's a 300 Blackout AK.
It looks like an AK.
And it looks like a rail gun.
Integrated waffle.
Yes,
sight,
it looks like a rail gun, bro. And then we got a new SCAR lower, which I assume is to allow for the 50-round mag. Nikita tweeted a 50-round SCAR mag, and so I think we got that. We got the mini grenade, the mini M67, the little itty-bitty one. It's from Marino, the V40. And we got some new gear, some new attachments. Quality of life update. We got the continuous healing, where you can just keep healing until you're full out of 1 med. Now, the way they did it is a little weird. So you know how they added where if you hold your heal, you can scroll your mouse and pick which limb you want to heal. They added that a while back. They added a new option at the top called full treatment. And only when you select that, you get the full treatment with a happy ending. Only when you select that do you do the continuous healing. I would have liked it where you just like hold heal and it just keeps
only when you
select that. If you just hit your,
so close.
I know. If you just hit your heal, it heals once. If you select your limb, it'll heal just that limb. You have to select full treatment from the thing. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone is saying you can turn on the continuous healing as the default option in the menus. Oh, so you can change just the click. Okay. Redeemed. I almost want to open up my game just to make sure that's true. That would be huge if true. Okay, well, enough people in chat are saying yes. I'm just going to blindly trust them. Okay, so you can just click it and it does the continuous heal. Nice. The only other thing is so with like an IFAK or a grizzly, I'll do an IFAK because this is the one. He doesn't pick it up, unzip it, and then just wrap until you're healed. He unzips it and then wraps until one limb is healed and then just unzips it again. And then wraps and then unzips it. And then wraps and then unzips it. So it just keeps like zerp, zerp. The audio is a little weird. Effectively, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? I just found that to be a little odd, but
here's the thing. That would be the thing where I'm like, I don't care if you don't need to spend days and days and days to make a new animation. Just repeat the animation.
Yeah.
Just fucking loop it and make it work. That would be me screaming 3 years ago, being like, just do it. It's fucking easy.
Yeah,
just loop the animation and it'll take you 5 minutes to implement, but they'll never do it. Well, here you go. There it is.
Yep.
So nobody ever complain about it. Okay?
Yeah, they did it. So, and you can cancel it at any time. I've had a bunch of people, the min-maxers.
Cancel it at any time, just like your like Hulu Plus subscription.
Yeah, you can cancel it just like a gym membership. You just have to call BSG and sit on hold, and then you can cancel your heal. Yeah, fax your birth certificate. Yeah, of course, the min-max chatters are always like, it's actually still faster to grab a grizzly and animation cancel heal every single time. And, you know, if you do it if you iframe it and you cancel it, then you get the full heal, but you get it at 18%. If you iframe it doesn't matter. Like, you know, like, yes, you can heal faster if you get a specific med and cancel the animation at a specific frame and cut off freaking 2/3 of an iota of a second of your life. Cool. It's cool to have in the game. I like it.
Select the 5 boxes that contain streetlights and crosswalks if you'd like to cancel this animation.
Yo, imagine you get a captcha.
No captcha?
No. So that's cool.
What no cap means, right?
Yeah. No cap was used. Let's move on. Hidden exfils. This is actually pretty cool. Out of nowhere. Basically, there's...
They've always been hidden. What do you mean?
Yeah, dude. Actually, so based. If you're new, they're all hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Anyways, there's new extracts on each of the maps where you have to find an item. It's not a set spawn. You can find it anywhere. But you find this item, and only then, if you have this item, an additional extract opens for you. And it applies to you and your entire squad. So it's like, all your homies can go there. And it's really cool because it's just adding to the map. Like we found one on ground zero. We were looting and I found this, it was just this green item. And then as soon as I picked it up, literally you know how when you double tap O, your extracts pop up? As soon as I picked up the item, it popped down and told me the name of the extract. Now we had to go find it, but then you turn in the code and you get to extract there. And so they added these on each of the maps. What's weird is that they didn't add one on labs. It literally lists hidden exfils are available at these maps. They don't list interchange, but then people in my chat earlier were like, I have the code for interchange. Where is it? And I was like, oh shoot, I don't know. So I don't know if they added one on interchange, but it deletes itself. Like if you extract a normal way, it deletes itself. It's literally just in the raid. If you find it, you can use the extract. So I think that's really cool because it just like adds a level of like kind of dynamic extracts where maybe that one is on the side you spawned on, but you found it and you killed a juicer and you want to get out and you don't have to go across the whole map.
You're going to be like pinned one day. You're going to have this code and someone is going to have an epic story because of that.
Exactly. All the maps so far I've noticed they've been additional extracts except for customs. They took Smuggler's Boat away and made it one of the secret extracts, which I was like, what the hell, dude? So now you can't extract Smuggler's Boat. The fire is always up, but you can't extract there unless you have the code. So I was like, damn, dude, come on. Other than that, I think it's a really cool feature. That's one of the ones that was just like out of nowhere, out of left field. I was like, damn, that's a cool idea. Like, that's sick.
That was my favorite exfil.
I know.
You ruined it.
I know. The BTR driver storyline, there's now a quest line given to you from the BTR driver. And it unlocks at level 20, so I haven't done any of them. But it's cool. Just more quests and interesting. They're really like leaning into him as like a big part of the lore. Like he just drives around and takes his payment and does stuff. They added a new area on Woods that's only accessible it's the area we were crawling under the train to get to, but I think they blocked that off. You have to pay the BTR driver to get there. On Woods, if you find the code, the extract is out there. So you pay the BTR driver to take you out there, and then you can extract from out there with the code. So I don't really know what those quests will be, but we got them. They added a whole bunch of hideout customizations. So now you can change the floors, the walls. You can add posters in each of the places. You can change the targets on your shooting wall or your shooting range. You can make them like ducks or like chickens or a bunch of stuff or a bunch of different, like basically like targets you can get at like a shooting range.
Oh, like people.
Yeah, no zombie, which I found to be weird, but, so hideout customization, some of that is just unlocked by playing the game. Some of that is from Prestige. Cool beans. They added some new achievements and they expanded a lot of the achievements. So now a lot of like the hideout customization is hidden behind achievements and even some cosmetics. Like the Predator shirt was one that you had to do previously from getting the Lightkeeper task and doing some crazy tasks, but now they put that behind the Snowball Challenge, which is cool. So a little bit of that. We got new drip for sale on escapefromtarkov.com. You can buy some new drip. None of them were crazy. We got the upgrade to game engine version Unity 2022. After all this
Wait,
time.
sorry, you broke up. You broke up at the end there. What? Sorry, what was the? I didn't hear the.
Yes.
My bad. It's a connection.
Unity 2022. Just in time for 2025.
Right, I thought you said 22. That was weird.
Yeah.
It's like your mouth said 2 and then also the noise.
It was yeah, we got
Weird.
Unity 2022. Which
does it feel 4 years out of date?
yeah. No, that's the thing. It's like it feels no different. Which is one of the biggest miscommunications. And actually, every single time Nikita talked live or in a video about Unity, he said, it's not going to change anything. We just need to get to it and then hopefully it'll change things. But I think just enough people, enough videos, the community, a lot of the community was under the impression that like Unity was going to, fix a bunch of stuff. So there's been one of the most common questions I've got these past few days is how does Unity 2022 feel? It feels exactly the same. Now, Tarkov feels really bad. It's performing really bad right now. And I don't know if that's as a result of Unity 2022 or just like it always performs bad at Wipe. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know.
No, it always performs good on Wipe.
Not,
like there's always
not these past year or two.
There's always been server weirdness.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the hit reg and everything, it always feels like I have in my fucking video from 2019, maybe 2018, where it was like patch 0.8 or something.
Yeah.
And I had the fucking Reading Rainbow goddamn theme song with like all of the, here's the list of the patch things. And one of them was just like hit reg. And me just like looking and like hitting a scab and him just being like, and falling down and like the ragdoll and the response to this. I was like, it feels so good.
Yeah.
I always remember the networking being janky and fuck for like the first couple of days, but the hit reg and everything.
Well,
usually felt
that
good.
for the most part feels fine. It's that some maps I'm at almost 50% of the frames I was last wipe. Like customs, I used to be at like 150 and I'm getting like 90. Woods, I used to be at like 180, I'm getting like 100. So like my frames are rough. I'm getting...
That sounds like Unity.
It could be. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was Tarkov feels like hot ass, and I don't know because I tech savvy enough to know if it's a result of the Unity upgrade, if it's bad networking, or if it's a combination of the things. Tarkov doesn't look any different. It doesn't feel any different. I definitely don't have more frames. I have less. I'm also getting packet loss like 20 times a raid and rubber banding a little bit, like 20 times a raid. Also, every single raid that we start, this was happening last wipe. This was happening last wipe 100%. Every raid you start, somewhere between like 18 and 30 seconds into the raid, your frames just go from whatever they are to 12% of it for 4 seconds and then back up. Just like
it's been like that for like 5 years, though.
So that's still happening. That's not a part of Unity, I would imagine. But so it's so we have Unity. I don't know how responsible it is for how bad Tarkov is feeling. Could be all of it, could be some of it, could be most of it. I'm never gonna know, right? I don't know anything about Unity or Tarkov's spaghetti code. So, but we have it.
The spaghetti factory.
The old spaghetti factory. But we have it. Improved the system to combat the use of banned third-party software. Cool beans. Okay. Audio. Updated Meta XR audio version to 69. Nice.
Nice.
Implemented, I'm just going to read, this is just like 3 lines, and I'm just going to read these, okay? Implemented the dynamic variation of the movement sound hearing radius depending on the movement speed and type. Improved the attenuation curves and the sound filtering dampening on the source's vertical positioning. Added in, so that was one sentence.
Can you read that one more time, but in English?
Yeah. Implemented the dynamic variation of the movement sound hearing radius depending on the movement speed and type.
Yo, the flat earthers literally wrote that sentence. We were just listening to some flat earthers when you came in, and they were talking about the fucking attenuation curve, dude. I swear to God, and now you just read that word
background
salad.
Cosmos radiation. Improve the attenuation curves and sound filtering dampening on the source's vertical positioning.
Fuck, dude. What a roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't know. Added a new reverb system for all locations with a physical model based on calculations of the real environment geometry, allowing for a new immersive experience and helping to improve sound spatialization.
Finally, an immersive experience. I've been waiting for that.
Yeah. And then removed the option to select binaural audio in the game settings. Thank Christ. I, at this point, don't care if they removed binaural or not. Now there's just one audio, and that makes my heart happy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because now you don't have to
I still get asked all the time, like, do you have it? I'm so glad it's just one audio now. So, okay, so that's the word salad describing the audio. Practically over the past 20 hours that I've played, it vacillates between, oh, that's kind of cool, to like hot garbage, oh my God, revert it. There have been a few times. There was a time I was in the new industrial zone on customs, and I heard a schwogile, and I heard it reverberate through the thing, and it actually did help me identify that he was on this side because it like trailed out, and I was like, that sounds sick. And there have been a few times where we're like shooting inside, and it's like, it sounds crazy, and I'm like, I can see what they're doing here. There was one time where I was like, you know, ZB14, the extract on woods with the key, you would go under the bunker. I was under there and Seal was up top shooting. And it was exactly what I assume it would sound like if I was under 4 feet of concrete and he was shooting above me.
Super low pass.
Super low pass. It was, I literally was like, stop, shoot again. It sounded so good.
It would. I imagine it would sound like if you're in the basement and someone was hammering like on your roof.
Yeah.
Like
now, those were very niche encounters where I was like, oh, yo, I can see it. The flip side is we've had times where we've gone into those little bunkers and all of us are reverbing, and the reverb, it gets like stuck in a feedback loop where the reverb is reverbing the reverb. And it was like, we're like tripping on LSD. We're all walking down there and it's like, and we're like, what's happening, dude? It's so trippy. It's so weird. Dude, there was a clip Pesley posted. Did you watch it? It was after his like frustration clip.
The one that sounded like it's like bam.
Yes,
like,
it sounded like a dog was barking at him. Every time the enemy shot, it was like that was weird.
It sounds like I understand how you would get the whole like dog barking thing, but it's definitely like a metal distortion reverberation kind of sound.
Yeah.
I can while you're talking, I'll see if I can plug in and share it with the audience.
Oh yeah. I have experienced a bug where it sounds like, like the early 20s and 2010s, like classic bass drop sound. People just there are certain raids where every time I shoot my MDR, it sounds like that's at the end of it. I'll be like outside in an open field. I'll be like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, where is this? Yeah, I was like, where is this coming from, dude? It's so weird. So something is up with the audio. And then on top of that, I've seen clips and we've had plenty of situations where it happened to us where there is completely no audio on something. We had an instance where I heard a scav walking up behind Seal and he didn't hear it. Like literally there was no audio for him, but I had audio. I've seen clips of that happening. It happened to me where Vel called out that there was a scav. I didn't know where. It opened the door, shot me in the head. I got no audio of it except for the door opening. So I would say, you got it up?
Let's see if you can hear.
I mean, I wasn't going to go loot him, but he didn't know that. I might have.
There's more than one. Oh shit. The fuck is that noise?
It sounds like you're smacking like a metal sheet.
Yes. Like a schmack.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's more than one. Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's definitely sounds like it's trying to be the like supersonic crack or something.
Yeah.
Except that's what happens when you take your guitar and you plug your guitar into the output of your amp, the output of your amp into the input of a pedal, the input of a pedal into the input of the amp, the output of the amp into like the speakers, and then your headphones into the output.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah, like it just doesn't know what the hell it's doing. Yes.
You play the guitar and what it's hearing is like the reverberation from the metal wiring in the pedal picking up acoustically. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was bad.
So like one of the most common questions I get is in the audio. It's hard because like we've been around through a lot of audio updates. For the first time, almost every single time they do audio updates, it's only ass. It's like, come on, like this is bad. Steam Audio was better than what was before it, and then since then it's just been like worse and worse and worse. This is the first time in a long time where I've at least had those niche situations where I will, whoa, this sounds sick. Like I haven't had that in a long time. So the audio in Tarkov is awful right now. It's inconsistent. That will get you killed. There are some really weird bugs, but I don't know if I can say that it's a step in the right direction or the wrong direction. Like I don't know if this reverb system is pulling on our frames and that's why we're having bad frames and it's not worth it, or if it's like, you know what I mean? It's so complex, but it's mostly bad, but with a little bit of good. And I guess that's more than what we normally get. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how to call it. It's mostly bad though. You know. So that's the audio.
Yeah. Okay. The shit cake.
Yes.
With the nice frosting on top of the shit cake.
Mm-hmm.
now has Oreo cookie
Crumbles.
on top, except half of them is dog shit crumbles. And
the cookie crumbles
and they look exactly the same.
Are only on 2 pieces of the cake, and you don't know which one you're going to get. So you don't even know if you should be looking forward to it. Yeah, that's it. I've also, every single scav raid I've done, I scav in, and it's as if the game thinks I'm inside, but I'm outside. There is 0 ambient audio. None. It's just like, if I'm not talking to chat, it's just... And then crunch, 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 crunch in the snow. It's so weird. PMC raids?
It's so disconcerting, dude.
PMC raids?
You're floating out in space.
It doesn't do that. Scav raids? Weird. I don't know. Freaking weird. Okay. Next section.
Dude, scav... Oh. Never mind.
What?
I was just thinking about how, like, you would go, like, into offline mode with contacts on, and it would be like the contacts weren't on until you took them off and turned them on. And like, I always thought there was some weirdness. There were a few other edge cases there where there was some weirdness with the sound. I wonder if I bet you it's like the same fucking function in the code somewhere.
Dude, yep.
The same like config file, like the same.
Gotta be. Dude, now this next thing I need to read to you unbroken. Okay. Because your reaction will most likely mimic the community's reaction. Visual recoil changes. Rework the visual component of the weapon recoil to improve the shooting perception, making it more realistic and detailed. New effects. Added random weapon sway and horizontal rotation. Implemented the visual effect of the bolt hitting the receiver. Added a camera shake effect, reflecting the buttstock hitting the shoulder. Added slight barrel sway effect for pistols. Shotguns now have inertia and caliber power effect. Updated the third-person animations.
I'm in physical pain.
Bro, the
physical
community
pain.
Was losing its mind. Myself included. This was a speed run any percent. Piss off as many people possible. They had the bingo card. They had random weapon sway. They used the word realistic. They had camera shake. They had inertia. They literally threw.
All it's missing is a mention of Roe v. Wade, and otherwise it would have been the perfect tweet. The perfect tweet.
It had everything, and I was like, "Oh,
hashtag MAGA."
No, what are they doing? Let me tell you, Veritas. I can't tell if they changed anything. The recoil feels exactly the same. Dude, yes. So all day for 2 days, people have been like, bro, did they fuck up the recoil? Like, please tell me. I need to know if I'm gonna play this patch.
You're like, I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't used every gun, obviously. There might be like a few guns where as the wipe progresses, it's like, oh my God, they ruined this gun. I cannot tell a difference. Semi-auto, full auto. First thing I did, I happened to do an offline. You saw in the video, the first I grabbed an M4 and I shot at the wall. I cannot tell a difference. So, it was so funny to see that whiplash there, because it was almost like they were trying to piss people off with the patch notes. But it seems fine.
Bro.
It seems fine.
That's like when you drop your car off at fucking Meineke, right? And they're like, we adjusted the relative motion of the conductors and the spurving bearings. We made sure we aligned your panametric fan. The fluorescent score motor was fumbling, so we had to get rid of that. We replaced that for you. We swapped out the differential girdle spring, obviously, because that was being problematic. And also we changed the oil. So that's going to be $7,200 for your 1992 Toyota Camry. Honestly, the great news is you're not going to notice anything.
Yeah, exactly. How's it going to feel? No, that's the beauty of it. It's going to feel great. It's going to feel just like normal.
Yeah, you're like, did they do any of that? Or is any of that real?
Yeah. So
did they do anything?
100%. I don't know. So it was really funny. The They made some AI changes. They changed how grenades work a little bit. This one was like, I'm not going to read this at all because this was like 27 lines of patch notes and it was like so word salad. They added settings in the game where it's priority window switching. So now, there's some settings for it, but like a few good examples are like when you're in your stash and you want to put a bunch of stuff into a junk box, anytime you control click it, it goes to your backpack, right? It goes onto your character. And when you control click on your character, it just goes to your stash. Well, now there's like a little yellow indicator telling you what the priority window is. So I can open my junk box. That's the priority window. And now everything I control click goes in the junk box. And you can do that in raid too with like looting if you open a rig. And like there's some settings where you can kind of like set the priority. There's a way to, with a bunch of windows open, set the priority window. So I didn't understand.
Is the priority like most recently opened? Like,
I think by default, yeah. So I didn't understand it at first, but now that I've been messing with it, it's actually really nice for like open up an ammo case, just control click all that stuff in the ammo case. Open up a junk box, control click, all that kind of stuff.
Now imagine if you could control click drag like a square,
oh my god,
like to highlight 10 things. As if you did on a Windows desktop, or like when you just reach your hand in and
yeah. What I've wanted for a while is when you right click a case, there's a fill option. You know how there's top up on ammo? If I have 33 rounds, I can click top up and it tops it up. I want to right click an ammo case and hit fill, and it just searches from top to bottom in my stash. Any loose ammo goes in till the container's full. Right click a junk box.
One of the quality
fill.
Of life things I proposed in one of my shorts.
Yeah.
Was that there's a fill and it figures out meds, ammo, guns, whatever.
But this is definitely cool. It definitely is nice. Let's see. Quality of life improvements. Nothing crazy. Balancing changes. They updated a lot of the ref stuff. They updated in Arena. They made the dailies and weeklies harder. They made them give less rewards, and they made winning arena matches give less rewards as well. So that was their way to nerf, like, there was just a tremendous amount of money coming in from Arena. Tremendous amount. You can still send 1 million rubles a day, but it's harder to make 1 million rubles now. I haven't played Arena. I don't really plan on playing it for a while. So I don't know if that's completely insignificant or there will be no money coming in from Arena now, but they made those changes. Here are the two big things. These are the two things of the entire patch notes that make the biggest difference. Listing offers on the flea market will be available 2 weeks after the installation of the patch. So there's no flea market for 2 weeks, no matter what level you are.
You mean 2 weeks? They'll be available 2 weeks before the wipe. On wipe day.
Yeah.
From 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, so from yesterday, 2 weeks until the flea market is open. This, like, obviously hasn't changed a whole lot yet because, like, it takes most people a few days to get to level 15, right? So, but this is going to be really interesting to see. This, I read this and I was like, cool. Like, at this point, it would take such a monumental change to almost every single system in Escape from Tarkov to quote unquote fix the economy. Like, it would take monumental changes to every single system, and then those monumental changes would have to be subjectively chosen in a specific direction to be more cohesive, and that could make the economy harder, easier, whatever. I'm not the guy that's going to figure that out, right? So I kind of liked that last wipe. They were like, hey, let's try no found in raid flea. And like, yeah. I thought it had pros. I thought it had cons, but I was like, yeah, freaking try. You guys talk about how we're in beta all the time. Try some stuff. So I read this line and it was like, same thing. I was like, oh, cool. Like, this could be horrendous or it could be sick. Like, I'm just glad they're trying stuff. So no flea market for 2 weeks. It'll be super interesting. You know, a lot of your hideout items you need, that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, interesting. Second thing, all items needed to upgrade hideout zones now have to be found in raid. So it's been a while since you played, but that's 473,000 items now like need to be found in raid.
You know, the funny thing is that I actually almost was like, is that the real number? I had to, for a moment, I'm like 473,000.
That's
I'm like,
so
it's multiplying
funny.
by the stack size. I'm like, it could be. The fact that I hesitated there for a moment
is hilarious.
Tells you a lot.
Yeah. So, all items needed to upgrade. Now, this, I totally see what they're trying to do with this, right? God bless you.
Grazie.
They are like, with the flea market, they're trying to prevent a very small amount of people snowballing to level 15 and then basically owning the market, making a bajillion rubles, right? So now in 2 weeks, a lot of people are going to be level 15 and a lot of people are going to start listing stuff at the same time, driving prices down. With the hideout thing, I also get the number one thing bought on the hideout for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks after.
Bolts
or on the flea market is bolts, corrugated hoses, wires, light bulbs, car batteries, all this kind of stuff. It is the number one way people make money. And so they're adjusting that. There's going to be so much more early wipe struggle, which a lot of people have said, they want the early wipe to feel longer because it's going to be so much harder to get these things. We've been talking about this a lot in chat. It is two sides of a coin, right? Where a lot of people are saying, I love this because there are now so many more reasons to value your life. Like you want to get out with an item and more of that feeling, more of that, like, holy shit, this is a stressful raid. I found this thing I need. The other side of that coin, and the side, my knee-jerk reaction was that I hated the change because I hate how, we've said this many times on the podcast, I hate how often Tarkov wants you to play in the menus and not in raids. And now there's just 1,000 more things that when I find, I want to leave. If I need one more bolt for freaking generator 3 and I die with it 7 times, and then I load into a raid and I find it in the first duffel bag, I want to go. I want to just get this thing turned in. And I don't like that. Now, I know it's so funny. I know people, we talked about stuff. People call me a fence sitter. People say I'm, a politician. I don't like to have an opinion. I really don't know how I feel about it. My knee-jerk reaction was I hated it. But the more that I play and the more that we've talked about it, the more I'm like, maybe. We're really just going to have to see. Once again, day 1, day 2, this affects nothing. It's going to be like next week, if I still don't have Lavatory 2, I'm going to be pissed. You know what I mean? Because the RNG can be crazy. So we'll see. But like, the two sides of the coin are valuing your life or valuing your time. And I hate how much I want to leave raids. I want to be in the raids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, like
it's a hard one. This is a really interesting one.
Because when they add a million different ways to extract, arguably making it easier to extract.
Yeah.
Then, like, if you can just easily be out, right? You don't have to like cross all of customs and fight your way there. And if you just like run to this thing, pay 5,000 rubles, take a car, and peace out.
Mm-hmm. Then,
yeah. There's 2 things that come to mind. One, and of course, like I'm not playing Tarkov. It's been over a year, probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
Since I've last fucking booted up Tarkov. So like my opinion, take it for what it's worth, whatever. But the thought when I first heard about that, it took me back to the days when you needed the fucking alkaline.
Yeah.
And
there was no flea market.
There was no flea market, so you had to find it. And stuff was like infinitely more rare because there were a fraction of the maps and a fraction of the loot spots. Customs had like 85 places where things could spawn, not 850 places. Now there's 800 buildings. Each of them has 19 shelves. Each one of the shelves has 27. Before there was like, this room can spawn a thing, this room can spawn a thing, and that's the whole building. So that's one part of it. So like I like it conceptually from the perspective of the feeling of like needing a thing and needing to get out.
Yeah.
Needing to leave and needing to survive is kind of the best part of Tarkov, assuming you're not struggling with 80 menus and blah, 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 right? All of the other shit. But like the core of it is like being in the raid, looking for what you want, surviving, and getting out with, the shit. While also at the same time having a little safety net where at least I got the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I died with everything else, but at least I got the Bitcoin, which was like a perfect middle ground because there was no found in raid.
Yeah.
There was no flea market. So if you had a quest that needed to turn in a thing, if you had the thing in your protector case, you just turned it in and it was like, good. The second part of it is like a bunch of people are very passionate and or upset about a thing that is by definition temporary.
Yeah.
They're not gating it on level.
Yeah.
They're probably 95% of the player base is going to play once, maybe in the next 2 weeks. And then for the next 3 months is when all that's going to happen. And there's no difference for them. So really, it's like predominantly the people who are on Christmas vacation, which I get is not small, right? And streamers.
That's
like
for the flea market, not for the hideout.
Yeah, for the flea market.
Yeah.
It's only 2 weeks. So it's like, it's inherently a temporary thing.
Which is why I think the flea market change is the lesser of the two, because you're absolutely right. It's like you could just wait 2 weeks and then your wipe is unaffected. Or it will be affected. The thing that will be affected is that like prices won't, like everybody will be listing stuff, so the prices won't go like 400,000 rubles for a single bolt because that's the only one on the flea market. The hideout thing though is like a lot of people have been like, well, why even have a flea market? Like that's how like 1-to-1. So many people, like I would say a large portion of all flea market transactions for the first 2 months of the wipe are just hideout items. And so this has a huge impact. Like this has a bigger impact on the flea market than the 2-week flea market restriction.
Yeah, the hideout, the feature, the implementation of both and design of both of those features went hand in hand.
Yeah,
the entire time. The reason why you need 97 bolts or whatever is because not only are they common and they don't need to be found in raid, but that you could also buy them.
Yes.
So they designed the requirement for the items that you need for the hideout, knowing that you could buy them.
Yeah.
So if you can't, they need to adjust that.
Exactly.
It should be like 1/10 of what you need to do all the things.
And you can tell because a great example is there are tons of barters for common hideout upgrade items. So example, Ref has barters for light bulbs.
That you can't
There's literally no reason for that now because light bulbs aren't needed for crafts. Light bulbs are needed to get vents leveled up. But now if I spend my GP coins bartering them, I can't use them. So you can tell that they thought of an idea, but they didn't necessarily like think it all the way through, which is fine. Like it's their prerogative to just like ship it and be like, we'll fix that stuff later. But to going back to the two things you said, one, I totally get your point where like what Tarkov is, the core of Tarkov is the struggle. I want to make it out of here. I don't want to lose what I have on me. It's hard because that conflicts with the performance of the game. It's like the struggle is less fun when in 10 of your deaths, 2 of them or 3 of them were your fault. And you could be like, shit. You know what I mean? When you die to no audio, When you die to a sniper scav, you know, one tapping you while he's facing the other direction from 200 meters away. When you die to, you know, like crazy desync, I'm rubber banding all over the place. When you die to a boundary sniper, when you shot the flare off and ran down the thing, like that makes it, that stuff like stands in for the game struggle. And then the game struggle feels obtuse. It feels additional. It feels extra. If the game performed better and the game's struggle was the core struggle, it would feel better. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying they should change the game because of how it's performed. If anything, I'm saying what I've said for the past 4 years now, which is they should prioritize the game performing better because then the struggle of the game will feel better. But the other thing I want to say is, going back to your analogy of like the pre-flea market thing, that is how for the past year, I have thought they should go. I don't want to dig up the whole like the better found and raid thing. We've done 48 podcast episodes about it. You've done videos about it. You did your big long tweet about it. But I think this change makes so much more sense. So when you think about the hideout, this is basically another little microcosm of what happened with the flea market. And additionally, they opened the flea market and now everybody had instant access to everything. Then they brought in found and raid and they swung the pendulum so far the other way where now you not only need to find it in a raid, but you have to survive with it in a raid and you have to be in that raid for more than 7 minutes or get more than a certain amount of XP, because if you don't, even if you went into a raid and found it in the raid and survived with it in the raid, it's not found in raid. So they swung the pendulum too hard. The hideout kind of got left behind, where the hideout was still in free mode where you could just buy anything you want, use it to upgrade. And they did it again where they swung the pendulum all the way the other way. I would have loved for them to do a middle ground where they added a new flag on an item that was generated inside of a raid. And if I put that bolt in my secure container and I died, I can still use it to upgrade my hideout. But if I buy a bolt from the flea market or if I buy a bolt from a trader, I cannot use it. That maybe, like, I know the people who say the whole like valuing your life thing, I know that still kind of gets rid of that, but it does and it doesn't. Because here's the thing.
But because one thing in your fucking protector case, not all the other shit you don't want to lose.
Exactly, that's the thing. Because then, in my opinion, what that does is that leads you down a path where you find a few things, you're like, yes, you put them in your secure container. Now you want to stay in the raid and accomplish more things. And along that way, you might find more things you need for the hideout, but your protector case is full. So you kind of get both. And if you're staying in the raid longer, because you're not just getting out when you find one bolt, you might find 4 bolts, but you can only fit 2 in your secure container because you have your key tool and your docs case and you don't want to kick that out. So it's like you still get 70% of the value in your life. And
no, you get 92%.
Yeah. And you get much more satisfying raids, and you get to say, hey, you have to go find this. You get the rewarding aspect. I didn't just buy everything. It wasn't just a money game. You had to go into a raid, and it feels like that would be so simple. And maybe that's a super naive thing to say, but it feels like that would be so simple from the design perspective to just flag it. Hey, this item has to have been generated in a raid, either on an AI, on a boss, or in a loot container. If you find it, you put it in your secure container, whether you live or die, you can use this to upgrade your hideout. Because there's still so many items you need to upgrade your hideout. It's not like you're just like, oh, that would be the same as buying it off the flea. Like, you still have to find RNG. Like, that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people are considering that really like this change. Because if they're thinking like, oh, it's like the good old days, it's not really, because you brought up a really good point. There's 3x the amount of individual items in Tarkov now. Maybe you don't need every single one of those things for your hideout, but you need everything in your hideout found in raid. And if you loot a medical supply crate, now there's 3 times more medical supply items, so you're less likely to find the thing you need. So it's like, you might go 2 weeks without finding a syringe, and if you find it and die to a cheater, that's going to feel like ass.
Yeah, in the good old days, there was 11 quests total in the fucking game. There wasn't 9 billion quests with 800 hideout areas that needed to have 4 tiers of upgrades, each one of them needing 7 different things to do, which is why everyone needs a fucking Excel spreadsheet you know, like so
like
in the good old days, it was like you have to find the red cigarettes, the blue, one of the blue stripes, and all the junk. For the first 4 years we played the game, bolts did nothing.
Yeah.
Right? All the junk did nothing. It was just junk, there as junk. You couldn't, you know, like, so. But yeah, I mean, everything you just said, absolutely 100%. And like, I have to return back to the analogy of like what we have here. I have a scar on my knee, okay, right here.
Okay.
Because my dad had a Toyota RAV4 when I was little.
Oh yeah.
And on the upholstery underneath the passenger seat, okay,
yeah.
there's like staples that like hold, you know, the upholstery
of course
of the seat, but it got like bent down somehow, and I like dropped something underneath the back seat. So I crawled under the back seat, and my knee was right underneath where that staple was.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I have a scar right here because it just dug in. Okay, so that's the problem, right? The solution to the problem is we're not going to properly clean the wound. We're not going to stitch it up. We're not going to fix the staple. We're not going to bend the staple back. We're not going to reupholster the seat, right?
Yeah.
We're going to put a Band-Aid, just a raw Band-Aid with my dirty, grubby hands on your knee, okay? And then later on, you get a rash from the fucking Band-Aid, okay? And then everybody's sitting here debating on whether or not do we rip the Band-Aid off or do we not rip the Band-Aid off? Are we going to put cream on to get rid of the rash or not? I'm not really sure. Talking about the relative benefits of the cream, the no cream, rip the Band-Aid off, right? Okay. They choose, like, we're going to just run it under tap water.
Yeah.
The thing no one asked for that doesn't actually solve the problem, okay? And then it gets infected. And then for the next 3 months, everybody debates on whether or not we want to put them on antibiotics or amputate the fucking leg. And at no point is anybody ever like, can we like fix the
original
hook?
wound? Yeah.
Yeah. The hook and, you know, properly still clean out all the gangrene. It's like, so that's where we're at. Like, don't forget, we are so far down the fucking rabbit hole of problems. And everybody always wants to look at the top and go, here's how you fix this. And it's like,
exactly.
There's a bigger picture.
Exactly. That's what disappoints me. Like, I know that it's so hard. I know so many people are going to misinterpret my feelings on this, but like, that's what disappoints me about the way BSG does it, is because when they swing the pendulum from one side to the other, people interpret that as those are the only two options. For a long time, people could only comprehend two options. We should get rid of the flea, or the flea should stay exactly the same. And it's like, oh my God, there's a million steps in between. We could try any one of them. And this is going to be one of those things where it's like the hideout should be found in raid or not found in raid. And it's like, it's not a binary. It's not like that. You know what I mean? And
what do we want is the question, not how do we fix X? It's what do we want?
Exactly. And I wish they asked themselves that, because really at a 10,000 foot view, I want to give them credit. I never thought they would change the found and raid system. I never thought they would change the flea market. I thought they were locked in. I thought we were just like shouting into the ether being like, man, I wish they had done it a different way. So on some level, genuinely, I'm like surprised and delighted that they're like, yo, no found and raid flea. Let's try that. Oh, let's mess with the hideout a little bit, because it seems like on some level, they're like, we want the early wipe to last longer. We want it to be harder. But it just like, they're so close. They went through the work of changing the thing. I wish they had taken the one additional step to be like, well, what do we want it to be like? What do we want it to feel like? And I just feel like, it's almost a circular thing where like the community reacted a certain way to a lot of these changes, like inertia and the weight system and the found and raid. And I think it's actually like altered the brain chemistry of Nikita and the devs, that their view of the game is in the context of the community's reaction to the game. And it's all just messed up now. Like Nikita spent like 5 to 10 minutes of the Tarkov TV live being like, we know you guys say we're shit. We know you guys hate us. We know this, that, like we're trying this, that. And it's like, oh man, like I can tell it gets to him and he really does it. And I'm like, bro, just think about what you want the game to be. And if you want the game to be something I don't want the game to be, that's fine. But I just hate when it feels like there's only two options, just like flea or no flea, fountain rate, no fountain rate. It's like, oh man, there's just like, all I want to know is that you considered options in between. If you say I don't want that, that's fine. I'm getting too far into a rabbit hole. Personally, I think that the middle ground, I think if something needs to be found in raid, I can go find it in a raid. The challenge is the goddamn RNG and facing the AI and facing other players to find the item. If I find the item, I can shove it up my butt and I can use it for quests or for the hideout if I need. It gets me to stay in raids longer, engage with raids more. I still will have a bunch of things outside of my secure container that I can't fit in there that I'll want to keep. And you kind of get the best of both worlds, in my opinion. But that being said, 10,000 foot view, I'm kind of maintaining the same thing I said about the flea, where it's like, I'm glad they're just like pushing stuff around and messing with it and hoping, and just like, really all I can do is trust that they're getting like altered isn't the word I'm looking for, but like unaltered, unbiased data. Yeah. Like I hope they have metrics they're looking for independent of like tweets. You know what I mean? And they're looking at these things.
Did you say independent of tweets?
Yeah.
Don't look at the tweets, guys.
And I'll respect, whatever the hell they want to do. So at that 10,000 foot view, I'm glad they're pushing stuff around. I'm glad the flea market is 2 weeks off. I'm glad the hideout stuff, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, so
but I just
that was another thing that I forgot and you reminded me. Like there's an alternate universe, right, where the sky's basketball, we have hot dog fingers, and this 2 week period is not just a random 2 weeks to hold back streamers from making too much progress because, they were responding to Redditors like fucking crying about it, right? It's that it's an experiment that doesn't really have like long lasting repercussions for the average player over the course of the next wipe, the full wipe.
Yeah.
That they can then see what was the experience like for players progressing for the first 2 weeks without the flea market. Is it something that, do we want to remove it? Do we want to tweak it? Do we want to do whatever? And then combine that with, the hideout change. There's at this point, there's no reason why next wipe couldn't be totally change the hideout, remove the hideout.
For sure.
Make the hideout only available to be, you have to unlock the hideout at the end of a fucking quest.
Yeah.
That's going to take everybody 2 weeks to do.
Yeah. Who knows? 100%.
Make it so that you pay $49.99 a month to unlock your hideout.
That's almost like what you're saying, I believe. And that's almost why,
Hideout DLC.
Hideout DLC. That's almost why I want to give the feedback, is because it's like, it was the same thing when they changed the flea. It was like, they broke the seal. I never thought they would change it. Now that they've changed it and they're willing to like change it more than once, I want to like send the feedback out there to the world. Like, hey, do you guys know BSG? There's more than a binary. It's more than just flea market, no flea market. There's more than just found in rate hideout, non-found in rate hideout. Because they're changing it.
Now, did they what would have been really great, right, is if they communicated the intentions of any of these things. This is going to be this is a one-time experiment. This is temporary. We want to know what it's like. Tell us about it. Keep
that
these things in mind while you're playing. Because otherwise what's going to happen is they're not asking, we're not expecting it. We're just malding while playing for the next 2 or 3 weeks, or while we're watching streamers play for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then 6 months from now, Nikita's going to say, what did you guys think? And everyone's just going to remember everybody malding and that they hated it. But why did we hate it? Did we hate it because you didn't do it enough, or you did it too much, or you did it at all, or you weren't listening?
And the infighting in the community, like whether, like for me, if I like it or if I don't like it and you like it, if the BSG doesn't describe why they're doing it, what the fight becomes, I like it because the way I play XYZ, and you don't like it because the way you play XYZ, and what we're fighting about might not have anything to do with the reason that they did it. So if they communicate the reason they did it, of course there's going to be friggin', people that complain no matter what. But more people would complain with the reference of like, oh, I don't like this because you said you wanted this and it doesn't do that. And some people would be like, I love this because you said you wanted to do this and I think it does that. And so like the feedback would be more pointed. But we got way too in the weeds. Once again, like if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. Like whatever. I'm not going to make a video about it. I'm not going to try and I'm done with that kind of stuff. It was just a worthy discussion to have on the podcast, because it's like, this is stuff we've talked about a ton in the past. They're kind of doing it, and I feel like they're so close to doing it right. They're just not. And so it's interesting. What's also interesting too is like, we don't know if they made other changes to the flea market because we don't have it yet. But in the notes, it doesn't say that they removed the non-found in raid flea, which means they are doing all this. Once again, they didn't communicate exactly why, but if we're going to kind of try to reverse engineer why, it feels like they want to slow down money making and slow down progress, right? If they didn't make any other changes to the flea, 2 weeks from now, when the flea opens up, you're still going to be able to buy stuff from the traders and just sell it on the flea. That was like the number one, the most, the feature about the non-found in raid flea that people disliked the most. Like even the people that were like, I love the no found in raid flea, but it's kind of AIDS that people can just buy 700,000 55A1 or 56A1 from Peacekeeper and then list it for twice what they put it. Like it's just a money printer. And so they may have changed that, but they didn't put that in the notes. And so that would like be so weird, because it would feel like it undermines, like that would go in a completely different direction than the changes they made. So we'll have to see what the flea market is. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like,
well, but then I guess all you would be buying, like, why would you buy something and then sell it? It's going to be guns and ammo. So I guess that would be exclusively like, I unlocked 995.
Yeah.
And you don't have it. But like otherwise, you wouldn't buy something from Therapist and sell it for less than Therapist or more than Therapist if the other person could buy it from Therapist.
It's just high level guns and ammo and armor. All the stuff that's like, and it's all the stuff that's not just max traders. It's like, you know, it's at level 50, I get a quest to do some AIDS thing on customs or streets, and then I unlock the purchase for 56A1 or 55A1 or whatever. And it's like some of those things you can sell on the flea and people buy it because they don't want to do the quest. So it's really just that kind of stuff. Guns, parts like suppressors and stuff like that, and then stuff. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. But they're messing around with it. They're just like so close. So that's the economy stuff. It's going to see, once again, don't get worked up. If you disagree, I don't even know if I like it or hate it yet. I think like my gut was that I hated it, but the more I've played, the more I'm like, well, at least they're doing something. You know what I mean? At least they're doing something. So we'll see. Okay. A few other things, quality of life stuff. Actually, that's it. A couple quality of life features, like money stacks to 1 million now. Remember back in the day when it only stacks to 100,000? It stacks to 1 million now. That's crazy.
I mean, like, it should just not be a physical fucking
item. Every other game, it's just not a physical item.
A fucking number go up, like.
Yep. Let me swipe my debit card when I'm at the car at customs.
Yeah, fucking G phone pay.
G phone pay, yeah.
Crapple pay.
Prapple pay. Oh my god, somebody make that.
I did. Not Crapple pay, but remember in episode fucking 3 or whatever of the green screen shit I did back in the day. I did the whole Steve Jobs in the
Yes. Oh my god.
The Crapple G phone.
Yes, dude.
That's a classic.
That is a
cringe.
That's an OG.
That was the one where I was wearing a cat onesie, sleeping next to Nikita in bed before I had a dream about being inside Fortnite. This video exists, by the way. Good luck finding it.
Go find it. Now, there were tons of additional issues with the game. There was a bug where people, some percentage of the player base have basically been bricked, not being able to play. Every time they log in and go to load into a raid, it gets like to 99% loading and then just crashes. That's been one. PvE mode, if you play solo, wasn't progressing. So you would do the raid, you'd extract, and you would just get back as if that never happened. If you did PvE with a friend, you would progress. Like, that was a weird one. VoIP hasn't worked, all wipe, which I didn't realize how much I relied on it. The amount of times I'm on a scav raid and I kill a PMC and I'm like begging this other scav to not kill me, or I'm like talking to other PMCs. VoIP hasn't worked. Lots of stuff has been wrong with the patch. But literally breaking news as we've been live, they tweeted, which by the way, the patch has only been out for like 36 hours. They installed a technical update right now. Fix an issue causing, dude, trader standing rollback after playing a scav raid. I guess that was a bug. Progressing in PvE not working. Fix an issue some players unable to block. Oh yeah, the Jaeger quest wasn't working. They fixed that. Mechanics getting acquainted task wasn't working. They fixed that. Oh, this was a bug. If you died, if you were on a raid and died, your scav raid would your scav timer would be 0. So if you ran a scav, you had 20 minutes until you could scav again. You went into a factory raid and just died, you could just get out and scav again. It was like crazy.
Wait, I kind of like that.
So they fixed that.
No, that was a bug. I was gonna say I like that.
No, that was a bug.
Intentional, because it's like, you at least try to play the game without being a freeloading bitch. At least try. If you tried, all right, you can do another scav.
Yo, my God. Fixed VoIP, fixed missing healing animations, fixed missing in-game events, fixed an issue that caused the inability to gym, whatever, fixed the error with interacting with the Christmas tree, PMC clothing, resetting customizable shooting range, the ability to select mannequin poses, and return. Dude, I don't know if this is a bug that I wasn't experiencing, but you know how like almost every single wipe, some of the item icons get changed? Like the IFAC little PNG just gets updated and it looks a little different. Dude, I have had so many people be like, oh my God, what have they done to the icons? I don't know if there were people getting a bug, but they tweeted that they were going to fix it. And in this tweet, they said they reverted some of the icons. Like, dude, it struck a chord with some people. They've done this every wipe for as long as I can remember. A few things get updated. This wipe, it was a lot of things got updated, but people were losing their minds and they reverted some of them. So, I don't know if it was like a bug, if it was freaking something Monka, but they reverted it.
It was fucking the Doge.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes. Now, the 99% bug does not seem to be listed here, which would be atrocious because that's like a real bad one. But I will say this is, as far as I can remember, the fastest we've gotten a technical update. 36 hours with like 14 fixes. Hopefully the 99% bug is maybe like connected to one of these and they didn't word it. I guess we'll see. Well, it's the patch is live, so if anyone's in Tarkov right now and is still getting that 99% bug, let us know. But anyways, so that is the Tarkov wipe. Overall, like, it's so hard. You know, I get asked a million times, is this a good wipe? Like, the patch notes were dense. There was a lot of stuff in the patch notes. But really, the only things, like a month from now, the only things that will really, like, feel different about this patch is, like, the updated customs, because a lot of people play that. 5,000 people are going to go for prestige, and the hideout thing. Like, I just genuinely think it's going to take a really long time to fully upgrade your hideout. It takes me a month to fully upgrade my hideout when I can buy everything on the flea. So
yeah,
so it's like, that doesn't mean this is a bad patch. And I think this is where people, you know, conflate these new things. Almost every single thing in this patch, secret extracts, the new mode, the achievement stuff, the BTR storyline, all of the continuous heal, all of these things are like good things to be added to the game. But like Tarkov, none of them will make Tarkov feel different in a month. And so the answer to the question, is this going to be a good wipe, is how have you been feeling about Tarkov recently? If you've been like, bro, I am loving this game, all of these things are going to heighten the experience. And in a month, it's going to be more Tarkov and you're going to be excited to play. If you've been like, oh my God, they need to fix the game, like, I think you're going to feel that exact same way. Does that make sense? So like, is this a good wipe is a weird question because they added a lot of stuff. They didn't necessarily fix a lot of the stuff that was broken before. So outside of the hideout, a month from now, it's just going to be more Tarkov. So
it's just going to be more the netcode sucks, cheaters, and audio.
Yeah. So if you
like it's 2019 all over again, boys.
So if you were playing Tarkov and you heard those things where people like the netcode sucks, the cheaters are so bad, if you thought to yourself like, oh, I don't notice those things, you'll probably love this wipe. And you should love this wipe. If you're somebody that like took a year off because you were like, I could not stand the netcode or the cheaters or the audio or the desync, I don't think this is going to be the wipe where you're like, holy shit, we're back, boys. Does that make sense? So like, I think that's the answer to the question. How have you been feeling about Tarkov for the past 2 or 3 months? That is what you're going to think about this wipe, because this wipe is largely just that. It's kind of mainly just a wipe with some small economy changes and some small quality of life updates. That's really it. And that might be all that's necessary until 1.0 comes out. You know what I mean? They're kind of slowing down on new features. They've axed, like, most of the things that are coming to the game are in the game. We're missing storyline quests and terminal. Like, I think the days of like big things, like you can revive your teammates now, that changes the entire game, the entire wipe, right? Like the inertia changed the entire game, the entire wipe. When new big, I think we're kind of done with that. I think they're like tightening the screws, and then 1.0 will be like, we have storyline quests and you're going to need to escape, and there might be new mechanics that they've been keeping secret. So I think like how you've been feeling about Tarkov is just how you're going to feel about it until 1.0 hits, whether that's next wipe or 7 wipes from now. Like, you know what I mean? I think, so I just don't think wipes are that big of a deal anymore. I think it's just like it resets the progress. We get some quality of life stuff and a few changes to the economy. And that's kind of like all you should expect out of a wipe between now and 1.0. It's kind of what I'm thinking. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything they could... All I'm thinking about is there anything they could possibly do to the game to make it not be the biggest disappointment in history for them to ship 1.0?
Oh, yeah.
With the current networking, the current cheater situation, whatever it is, and the current audio. Imagine it's the sickest storyline quests ever with the coolest new fucking mechanics. You get to do like a medium difficulty Sudoku to extract, like whatever, right? Like you get to fucking wear Killa's pants and like swing to Gilla's hammer.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And then 1.0 comes out, and then from there it's like hot fixes until the servers get shut off in 2027.
Yeah.
What then?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I think that, you know, my guess is that the 1.0 will kind of be met with a tsunami of like, oh, it's just Tarkov. Like, it's just a wipe. The storyline quests are going to be cool, like something to do. We're going to get a lot more lore. We're going to get another map, but like, it's going to feel like a wipe. You know what I mean? It's been 2 years, 2.5 years since Streets came out, and 50% of the player base can't get over 38 frames per second on it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to sound ungrateful. I'm not trying to sound like pissed that they wiped, but that's the point I was trying to get at, is it's like,
it's about expectations.
Continuous healing is sick. But if you got 22 FPS on Streets last wipe, you're getting 22 FPS on Streets. You're getting 17 FPS on Streets this wipe. So it's like, continuous healing is good. Just because FPS on Streets is bad doesn't mean they shouldn't add continuous healing. But when people are like, is the wipe good? My assumption is they're talking about like, is the performance better? Like, is the netcode better? And it's like, no. The features they're adding are cool features for sure. But like, you still can't play streets. You know what I mean? You still are going to rubber band, and I don't know. Does that make sense? So
yeah, whenever I peek my head in to like Tarkov land, like look around, it's like a mosh pit in a bar. It's a shit show what I see every time I peek my head in.
Yeah.
But it smells familiar.
Yeah.
Okay? Smells familiar.
For sure.
I feel like for a long time, right? We had, it's 2017, 2018, right? It was, this game's going to be incredible when it's here, right?
Yeah.
And as the game has been progressing, I feel like the community's mindset has been doing this.
Yes.
I can't wait. They're making changes. I can't wait till we get to wherever we're going to get, But instead, we're
here.
And everyone's like, I can't wait. And it's like,
wow.
Brother, it's this with tweaks.
Yeah, we are here.
Like, think about how much the game has changed fundamentally in the way it feels between 2019 and 2024.
Yeah.
That is 98% more than what we're going to see before 1.0.
Yeah, that's such a good, like, visual example. Yeah, it's like we're close to it. And that's why I go back to, I don't want to say Tarkov is bad or Tarkov is good. I want to go back to, like, how are you feeling about Tarkov right now? My guess is that's how you're going to feel about Tarkov when 1.0 hits. If you're enjoying the game, if the bugs, the like very objective bugs in the game don't bother you that much, and you're like, man, this game provides an experience nothing else provides, I think you'll love it. But I think exactly right. To the people that are like, bro, I love this game. I want it to go so good. When 1.0, that's when I'm going to enjoy it. It's like, that's who I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like, I think we're here. And if you are frustrated playing this game, I think you're going to be frustrated. So it's like, it's not about whether I think it's a good wipe. It's not about whether I think 1.0 is going to be that. I think it's like coming to the realization that we're pulling into the driveway. You know what I mean? It's like the scenery isn't going to change much between this road and the end of the driveway.
Yeah, Disney is going to be so much fun when you're walking onto your last ride that you've been there for a week. You're like, oh God, this trip, I can't wait to really ride. And it's like,
yes, I think that's a great way to put it. So we'll see. But that is the stuff. That is Escape from Tarkov. That is what's happening. We got drops next week. They're putting out patches quick. Cool stuff.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure. And genuinely, this is what I was gonna say. I thought I was gonna say, it's been so much better engaging with Tarkov sans social media, like Reddit, Twitter. I don't really watch YouTube videos about it. Like all these conversations we've been having like really solid conversations in chat. Like in these past 2 days, there haven't been like there have been toxic people, but like we just kind of move past them. Like we've had these conversations with chat where like people are like, I love the hideout change. And I'm like, I hate it. And we just like talk about it. Like it's so funny how I don't realize how much that affects me. Where when I see the like super shallow vitriolic rage bait opinions on Twitter,
the same three repeated over and over and over again.
When somebody comes into chat and they're like, I hate this change, I don't realize how much I apply. I assume that chatter to be like the Twitter guy. And then I react that way to them and then it blows up. And so it's actually been so great. Like I've been playing Delta Force. I'm staying off of social media. I come back to Tarkov. There's all these changes. They're controversial. And we're just like talking about them. And when somebody comes in and they say that they hate it, I'm like, oh, tell me why. Like I'm interested. I kind of like this, or vice versa. And so I hadn't realized how much seeing that affected my perception of people's opinions as well. And so it's been nice, like being away, playing other games, coming back, playing this game. Like, it's been nice.
That's why I hate the internet, because there are times where, and everybody's, including me, is guilty of it, where you engage in a dialogue back and forth with somebody, and if I'm reading chat or a comment or whatever, all I can do, I'm hearing tone of voice in text, and I'm usually pretty good at that, but there's only so good you can be, right? When something could just possibly be interpreted multiple ways. And then going back and forth, how people engage, what their name is, the color, like all of those things play a psychological.
Dude,
and it's so funny. It's so funny how there are times where it's like I'll be projecting this kind of blurry sort of face of like what I think is probably like an edgy 22-year-old. And then come to find out they're like, got to put the little one down for bed. It's my 49th birthday tomorrow. And I'm like,
shit.
And I'm like, fuck. Like, oh, that's right. You're a human being. And everyone needs to have the epiphany that I have like once a month. Yeah. Where it's like, I find out that like, oh, you're a 39-year-old mom. I didn't know, but and not that like the gender or the age like matter, but
just when you
it's the equivalent of putting a face on something that you put I had a caricature of a thing, and now it's like, oh, you're a human. That when we have disagreements, if you're a human, we can talk.
Yep.
If you're a fucking bot, username, anonymous, whoever, your ex been following since such and such a date or whatever, it's like, whether it's Twitter or Twitch or whatever, it's just, I feel like our human empathy brains turn off.
Yep.
And Yep. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Yep, dude. Same. So it's been so, like, I thought it was going to be healthy for me to like play other games, and it's even more like, you know what I mean? I'm realizing that like just staying away from the drama of it and not forcing myself to play a game when I don't want to play it has made me playing these past few days more enjoyable. The conversations better, me empathizing with the chatters more. Like, it's just been a better experience, in my opinion. So it's been good. It's like,
oh my God, do that. Oh no, go ahead.
No, I mean, that was basically it. I was just gonna be like, Tarkov is still Tarkov, and sometimes it makes me want to uninstall it immediately. But yeah,
dude, I just on this note, had a real interesting back and forth. I'm trying to find. I never use like the Twitch moderation tools ever.
Oh yeah,
I never even look at like ban requests and whatever my mods usually go through. Fuck. I gotta find it. Basically, someone came in and it was first time chatter, and they were like, hey bro, looking to get into PoE. How are you liking the monk? What ascendancy did you choose? Blah, 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 blah. And I got about 3/4 of the way through answering the question before I realized that their username was Get Cancer, haha. And I just like what?
it just like threw it off. Now you like can't.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, yeah, honestly, the monk, blah, 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 it's probably one of the best classes. And yeah, okay, clearly you're a piece of shit. And it's like, and then they disputed the ban.
Yeah.
And was like, now I have it set so when you get banned, I think, I've never actually tested this. I don't really know how it works. I don't really kind of care that much, but I think that you like can't watch the stream. You can't read chat.
Yeah. I think there is a setting for that. Yeah.
I'm sure you can probably like VPN incognito, like whatever. And like, I just don't care. But they probably didn't hear because I banned and then was like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And then I went back and forth with chat like, how can you have a name like, you got cancer, haha, or whatever it was, and then nonchalantly ask oh my god. So anyway, and the ban appeal was like, hey, I came in and asked a question, blah blah blah. I didn't say anything like vulgar. I'm like really confused as to whatever. So like, hopefully I can get unbanned. Just like,
yeah.
I just, dude, to me, when I see that, it's like,
it's crazy.
See, like one of those big red-assed baboons swinging from the trees, like throwing shit at another baboon, and the other baboon is like humping the log over there, and I'm just like looking, and I'm like fascinated at like nature.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. I've had people come in and be like, hey, I got banned in the Discord, and they're like super nice and super respectful. They're like, I don't want to cause any problems. I just like, I can't say anything in the Discord. I'd love to like know if there was a reason why. And I'd be like, oh, that's really interesting. Like we have, a lot of people in the Discord, mistakes get made sometimes. And it's like, what's your Discord name or something? And it's like the N-word with like weird symbols to like, ASCII symbol or whatever. And it's like, what? Like the people are so like, hey, I don't want to be a bother, but like, I don't understand. Like I didn't do anything. I was just in a raid. And then you're like, I'm like trying to help them. And you arrive at this and you're like, what? Like you want to know why? It's crazy.
We live in a universe where I genuinely believe, because there's all these different scenarios, it's like a 50-50 whether or not that's like a subtle, carefully crafted troll where they want you to have this singular experience where they have a dumb name, like they went and created the Discord account. They go and say some stuff, and then they come in respectfully, nicely, maturely ask for an unban, and then you're hit with the realization. It's like, that is way too, if you're gonna go and make your name the N-word, then you have to be too low IQ to come up with something that like nuanced and clever.
Exactly.
But so then like they might just be one of those like polite racist guys. Like, so, oh God, I just can't.
It's so weird. It's such like emotional whiplash.
When someone came in to the stream 2 days ago and they said, never compliment a female streamer with big breasts. All I did was say, you just need to sit back and look pretty and let your managers collect all the money for you. And they just banned me without question. And I'm just like flabbergasted because first of all, what he thought, the original idea was you just got to look pretty. And like, you've been watching too many fucking Andrew Tate talks, right? Like, for that to be the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. Now, second of all, for you to then type it, is also like another level of unhinged. Then to get banned and to be flabbergasted to then show up in my stream. That he had like 300 chats in my stream. He's been following. Now it always happens to be the people who were around in Tarkov in 2019 or whatever.
Yeah, their last message is like, "Yo, great snipe" or something, and you're like, "Oh, you."
It really is like, what do you think about the flea market changes in like November of 2017 or some shit, right? But to then come into my stream and be like, oh, I'm going to vent this thing that obviously everybody's going to agree with me is totally reasonable that I did and totally unreasonable that they did. It's like, what fucking universe do we live in?
I told you about the guy that came in chat, and the message was, as a female streamer, I don't feel safe. As a female, I don't feel safe in your community. I feel like I'm constantly getting mansplained to. But it was first time message. And I was like, that's the first time you've ever typed anything in my chat. You don't think I would know that? And their response was, damn, I got to work on my bait. And I was like, my faith in humanity went like -3% because I was like, God damn it. It was like a small peek behind the curtain of like how many of those that aren't first time messengers, I believe. You know what I mean? And somebody
but
like,
bro, you have to.
and you're like,
they did you a favor
no.
by peeling back the curtain and not gaslighting you.
yeah, it surprised me.
Because I still want to know if Get Cancer Haha is a real person.
Yeah.
Like, I still need to know. I need to know, right? At least you know.
It surprised me that, yeah, exactly. The veil went down immediately. It was just like, caught. Damn, I got to work on my bait. And then they left. And I was like, whoa.
So what he did is he went that day and made 7 Twitch accounts.
Yep.
And then went and said, hey guys, what's up? In all of their chats, in every Tarkov streamer's chat. And then now they're like set on their calendar.
Yeah.
They're contentedly waiting for the day, February 17th, when they're going to go to every channel and just Control V, Control V, Control V. Because they're going to have 9 tabs open. And it's going to be like, I'm getting mansplained too.
Yep.
And they're like,
Yep.
waiting for it all to burn.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Someone should make a video about that.
Yeah. Someone should make a video about that. Well, that is the stuff. If you want more content like this, you can go to patreon.com/thepogcastpod, where you can get early ad-free access to these episodes if you missed part of them, and additional episodes every single week just for the patrons. I am tired and starving, so I'm gonna go
watch fucking Squid Games.
Oh yeah.
With the wife.
I feel like I should watch that.
Wait, you never watched season 1?
I never watched season 1. I should. I'm nothing against it.
Fucking. God.
I know.
Damn
it's okay. You can say you're disappointed in me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging. Appreciate y'all being here. And we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
I'll always bring a towel.